Welcome. Today we are going to talk about the shadow. What is the shadow? How it's created in our psyche? What is the purpose of the shadow? And how to go beyond that? Shadow is basically resistance to life. It's when we say no to life. We say no to the life itself and we start resisting our flow because we are the essence. We are the essence. We are the light. Being in our essence means that we are completely open and vulnerable and the life is flowing through us without resistance. But when something traumatic happens, we tend to resist it because we are afraid for our own existence. We don't even have to be afraid, but we feel it's threatened. So shadow can come the reaction to trauma. We're gonna define shadow in this video as reaction to trauma. So reaction to trauma can be in many different ways and forms. We can react through fear, we can react through anger, we can react through hate, we can react through manipulation, we can react through hiding ourselves, we can react through diminishing ourselves and start hating ourselves or the others. We tend to be addictive to power. We create a lot of different addictions. It's the way we are saying no to life. And these kind of behaviors are not often appropriate. So then on top of that shadow, we create something that we call the persona. The persona or idealized self. Idealized self basically means that I am righteous and I'm trying to justify my shadow because the shadow is reaction to trauma. So I cannot not be my shadow because I have to protect myself with my shadow. But then because this behavior is unacceptable for others or for me, we tend to feel shame and guilt about having the shadow, and then we create idealized self where we justify our own shadows. Idealized self is not the same as ego because both idealized self and ego are me opposed to others. But in idealized self, the main purpose is one, to hide the shadow, and second, to feel righteous. In ego, yes, we can also react in that way, but having a healthy ego means I am okay and you are okay. I perceive myself as something different than you are. I can see myself, I can see you. I have clear boundaries. And in healthy ego means that I accept myself and I accept you. We are different. In idealized self, I am better than you or I am worse than you, which also means that we have weak ego. It's connected, but not quite the same. I just wanted to make that clarification. So basically, in the shadow, we toss everything that we can't or don't like about ourselves, because the problem that comes is that with the shadow, even though it's protection, we end up hurting ourselves. It hurts us the most, and we tend to feel guilt and shame around it. We feel that because we have a shadow, there's something is broken inside of us, that there's something is wrong with us, and that we are broken, and we feel guilt for that. We feel that we need salvation, so then we pray to God, save me from my sins. But the shadow does not need your prayers. The shadow needs your light, the light of the essence, the light of the essence that will say, I see you, I understand you, and I accept you. And once that shadow is accepted and integrated, it means that it comes back home into the essence. Then we see that there is actually a huge potential when we were resisting to life. And now all of a sudden that energy starts flowing again. It starts creating. We become creative. We realize that there are parts of us we never allowed ourselves to live. So for example, if we really hate, can you feel how potent the energy of hate is? And if you would open up the hate, allow the energy of hate to flow. Just a quick disclaimer, when we allow the energy of hate to flow, I do not mean that that we direct it onto somebody else, but in a safe environment, we allow ourselves to feel, and we allow ourselves to flow in that feelings of hate. And then after it starts flowing, we realize that there is tremendous potential and strength that was the hate, but now it's something different when it's integrated and when it's back home into the essence. That's why I don't believe that shadow work needs to be the work. I believe that we connect ourselves to our essence, which is something that actually happens spontaneously when we feel that we are going through awakening. Then we sort of open a Pandora box, and our shadows, our demons and dragons, they're all rising to the surface, and they're here for the integration. So I hear actually a lot of time people ask me, oh my God, I just started therapy, just started working on myself, and I feel worse than I felt before. And that is why. Because once you connect yourself to your longing, to your dreams, to your essence, once you feel who you truly are, you are opening the door of essence. It's like sort of as you are turning on the lights into dark room, and you see all of the cockroaches and the spiders trying to hide or run, and now you become aware of them. So this is the process of integration. So I want to share some of the ways that you can work with your shadow. So working with shadow can be painful. Yes, I know that, and it takes a lot of courage. So if you are on that path, tap yourself on the shoulder, because not all people can do it. And I'm not here to preach to everyone about this. It's only for people who are ready, who have stable connection with their essence. Because otherwise, if you start working on your shadow from your ego or from your idealized self, it will literally destroy you. So don't even go there. Okay. Because shadow work can be difficult, what I want to say is what you can do is make it fun. So make humor out of it, make fun of it. I remember when back in the days when I first started my therapy and started to become aware of some of my shadow aspects, me and my sister and my friend would always, we would laugh about them. We would like, oh my God, I just became aware that I'm a witch, or I just became aware that I'm this nasty old man who wants to destroy everyone. So we would embrace this kind of archetypes, but in a humorous way. So if you have anyone that you can share your experience or talk to, I would encourage that in a fun way, so that you know that this is not who you are. Because the problem, what makes the shadow difficult, is when we identify ourselves with it and we think, oh my God, this is who I am. But if you make it humorous, then the energy is more in the flow, it's easier and it's softer. So make fun of your shadow. Another thing is that you can use art. For example, I really love Tim Burton. If you see his work, he's mostly creating art from this shadow or lower self aspects. And that is also something that you can do. Write a story, write a poem, or if you love to paint. If you like to dance. I actually created the movement class, which is called Light and Dark, where we become aware of our resistance and our no to light, but we also become aware of our light. So this is a creative way we can become aware, embody our shadow, and allow that energy to flow in order to integrate. If you're interested in that class, I will leave you the link in the description of this video. And also what you can do is you can see what annoys you the most in others, because others are sometimes mirroring our shadow aspects. So then you can write a list of all the things that you hate when other people do, even like celebrities, famous people, politicians, something that really annoys you, that you hate and that triggers you. And then you can write a list and say, I hate when they, I don't like when they, and then use that quality or characteristic and start with I am, I do that. For example, people are power hungry, people are weak, my friend is a liar, and then I am power hungry, I am weak, I am a liar. And then feel into and see, what does this do to you when you say I? Another thing that I want to say is that shadow is a potent energy. It can create and it operates subconsciously. That's why it's important to become aware of it. And because otherwise it will create unconscious. So it's all about becoming aware and conscious about who we are. And the persona or idealized self is basically a dead energy. It's the imitation. So if we work on ourselves from our ego or our idealized self, we are basically recreating even more shadow. So that's why the first thing is connection with our longing, with our deep, deep longing, with our essence. And then the shadow comes by nature. You don't have to force it. From idealized self or from ego, yes, I want to force it. I want to work on myself. I want to connect with my shadow because I want to be perfect. I want to be the idealized version of myself, the best, because I want to have a good life. I want to have money. I want to have house. I want to have partner, whatever. But this is not how it works. It works. I take a deep breath. I'm in the flow. I feel, who am I? What do I long for? I long for example, for connection. And then all of my old relationships, even my relationship with my parents, it comes by nature to see how was I hurt, how was I resisting real connection. And then I allow it to flow. I allow my yes to gently invite my no, and I open the doors. I open my heart for real connection. But for my idealized self, I want a relationship. I want it, I want it, I want it, I want it now. Do you see the difference of the energy as I explain it? And also, we are not here to dig through our past. We're not here to find something from our childhood. We are here if something comes up, if something is still active in the now, then we go into that energy dynamics and allow it to flow. Okay? So, as always, if you have any questions, comments, please write to me. And yes, I would also like to invite you to share your experiences with me. How do you perceive your shadow and what helps you to go beyond shadow? Let's learn from each other. I don't want to be here in a role of a teacher. You know, I really truly believe that clients are my bigger teachers than the books, and of course my own experience. So please do not hesitate to reach out, and I will see you soon.